Hi everyone, Bryan here from DAIM. Quick update on the prices. We were trading around 67,000, down a little bit more here, 65.5-ish range. Bitcoin's having some selling pressure. In the options market, the break even for today was 68,500. A lot of these guys are probably going to end up in the red. There was more calls than puts, people betting to the upside in the options market. CME futures, most people were net short. That is the spread trade, but there is some selling pressure going on and we're going to dive into it. All right, so we're going to hop into the crypto price forecast and where I think things can go and what we're studying over here on our team. We'll cover the past history coming up to this last week, and then we're going to talk about where we can go in the short term, the medium term, and the long term. There is some great stuff. We do believe we're still in a bull market. Okay, let's hop into it. So what has been going on? Who is selling? Well, the average price to mine Bitcoin is projected to be 77,000. That's a bit higher than where we are now, over $10,000 higher. And so what reserves most miners have are hitting the market and being sold. And so that's one of our key areas to look at. And it kind of looks at like some of these whales are also selling alongside of them. So when you couple that with the CME future shorts, the lack of inflows from the buyers and the ETFs, and then as well with the miners selling here, they do need to cover some cash for these expenses. They got to upgrade equipment. All that stuff is very expensive. And so you're in the red here for break even, but eventually they'll run out of reserves. This is actually a bullish thing in most cycles. We like to see them eat through what they have. Eventually there's nothing left in the pocket. And then they're often just burning off what they mine per day, which is not as much as what they have in reserves. So that's what's been happening here in the short term in the past. Something else also to note is Bitcoin volatility. Okay, this is a chart of Bitcoin's volatility here in the recent past. And we'll notice that it's pretty flat. It's trading around a 52 vol right now. Volatility, again, is not something negative. It is just a measure of how much Bitcoin moves rapidly in the upward motion or in a downward motion, that's up in price or down in price. But we're seeing here that basically it's just trimming sideways post to halving. And this is kind of common. I'm going to get into this in the last part of this video when I talk about the long-term forecast. But at some point, this is going to break out and volatility will spike. Again, it could be positive. The price could rise rapidly. Something else to note that after a peak in market and the consolidation phase, after the longest duration we've went through is 109 days. We're at day 92. So we could set a record, but we are due to vol to change. And again, we hope that's to the upside. It could be the downside, but vol is going to get moving here. So the last few years, Bitcoin's been quite boring in the summers. It just kind of slides sideways that we've seen. That's what allows volatility to come down. And typically after the halving, there's this period where it doesn't do much. But people are onto this. And now with the advent of the ETFs, the professionals are looking at it. So let's dive in some more on what I mean by this. So here in this chart, I'm showing Bitcoin's performance since the halving. And so on the right side is the multiple that it's gone up 12 months after the halving. And I'm showing the past two halving cycles here. And the black line on the left represents where we are in the current cycle. And if you see 6 months even after the halving in the past two post-halving cycles, Bitcoin hasn't moved much. It went up by a little bit of a multiple, but not a lot. It really starts to happen here in the 6 to 9 month range where the multiple tends to happen. And so professional traders now, they know this, they're reading stuff. They don't necessarily need to be really right, but they need to be early. And that's what's making us think that the price starts to move higher sooner. We're not going to wait this 9 month mark for it to start really going up. We think things could start happening somewhere around August or September. So do look at this, think about it, right? There's more adoption, more professional traders, the ETFs. People just want to be early to stuff. And so for that reason, keep an eye on it. And it might seem boring. It might seem like we're in the red, but overall we're in a bull market, but things could take off sooner than expected. Okay, let's talk a bit about the long term and where we think price could go and what could affect it. It has to do with these Bitcoin ETF issuers and what they could do on a discretionary level, very positive. And then also what's going to happen with the elections and what we think could push prices. Okay, this is Larry Fink, one of the guys that really helped push the ETFs getting approval over the edge. And so they just don't want people buying the ETF. They got bigger plans for this. And it's just that being able to automatically put IBIT into other mutual funds. So the other providers had these tools too. They all have other mutual funds in the trad space. And so if they were able to add Bitcoin to it automatically, it would improve the Sharpe ratio of a lot of these portfolios. And so that's a good thing. That's an automatic buyer coming in the space. But even though that BlackRock has made the decision for a few of their funds already, a lot of the other mutual funds have to wait a duration for this to happen. They might have a 6-month due diligence. They might have a 12-month. But this is a long-term auto buyer that we do think is coming to the space and will definitely help push prices, as these mutual funds will need to buy their issuer's product. And then that ETF, again, will have to go in the open market and buy more Bitcoin. And then to wrap it up too, we're starting to see a lot of positivity around the politics and the candidates that are going to run for president. Trump just saying that he wants every Bitcoin made in America. I mean, that's near impossible to do. We do like it being a bit decentralized and being mined in different places. But it's a great idea. And I think you're going to see a lot of the debates come up and have the conversation of crypto in it, both parties being pro-crypto. But as it's talked about on the debates, this could help push prices north. So something to keep an eye on in the last few months of the year. All right, everyone, have a good weekend. Happy Father's Day to everybody over there. I'm going to be missing my son. I'm not with him yet, but I fly over there on Tuesday to Newport Beach and look forward to talking to you all next week. Let us know if you have any questions or need any help with crypto wealth management. All right, everybody. Bye.